We are back. Hello. Welcome back to anyone who's joining us again, or if any new listeners, welcome. This is Three Pints and a Clean Sheet, and this is episode 5, which is
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
crazy when you think that, just over a month ago, me and Greg were sitting while you were at work trying to work out how to record with all three of us in different places. But we're getting there. I'd say last week's audio sounded a lot better. Some feedback from the listeners would be good. But let's move on. We've got Greg this week, despite him trying to run off on holiday again.
Oh, I know, I'm never at home.
So we're going to start off this week with our quizmaster is going to take over. I'll let you explain, Greg. You've got the details.
Yeah, so I agreed that I would write a quiz, which I have done for numerous other people and numerous other times. Football-related quizzes, and if there's one thing that us Scottish people hate during a World Cup more than anything, it is news about England being rammed down your throats every 5 seconds. Sadly for you, that's not going to end, because this quiz is about the team we all love to hate, England.
Air.
I don't think it's about Air United, but we do hate them.
Yeah, we do also hate Air United. Basically, the way this works, there are 11 questions in total. There are 10 initial questions and a final question. You will have 2 strikes to get through the first 10 questions, so you can get 2 questions wrong, working together to try and reach that final question where you will have to name something in 60 seconds. So we will start quite nicely with question number 1. The difficulty should ramp up as we go through, and as I say, 2 wrong answers, and you are finished.
Quick question.
Yes.
I've got my hand up, but you can't see it because we're not in the same room. Is there time limits on these first lot of questions?
There is no time limit on these first lot of questions. Talk them through and come up with an answer.
Right.
So, question 1. I will also say, actually, before I start, most of this, if not all of it, is stuff that's happened in our lifetime, so it is all from 2000 onwards. So the first question, the closest that England have came to winning a tournament in recent times, and indeed our lifetimes, was at last year's Euros, where they even went 1-0 up at Wembley in the final. But who equalised for Italy that day?
Oh, jeez.
I mean, I know it.
I'll go for it. We're working as a team. I just can't mind. I was pissed.
It was Bonucci.
It was Leonardo.
Yeah, I remember that now. After Greg doing knee slides in the summer garden at the Crichton.
No, I was just I think about a few days ago. Like, it was such a scruffy goal.
It really was, but what more would you want? 2 defenders scoring that day, actually. Moving on to question number 2, which you should surely get quickly, because I've seen pictures of it about 5 times in the past week. England were eliminated from the 2010 World Cup after a 4-1 defeat to Germany. But during that game, what England player scored ghost goal, which wasn't given despite it crossing the line?
Can I answer this one? Can I know this one?
Yes.
Or do you want to confer?
If you want.
No, it's Frank. It's Frank Lampard.
It is Frank Lampard.
Yes!
Frequently seen as the advent of goal line technology.
On England!
As usual, it takes an Englishman to get pissed off, and then someone does something about it.
You're playing with fire tonight, I think. He's trying to see how much he can poke the bear here.
I am, but if any English people are listening, I'm very up for hating.
Put you on Twitter or Instagram.
Question number 3.
Just give the Greg's private Twitter account.
Yeah, I'm all up for people who want to troll me. Not really.
I'll give you his address.
It is. Which one? I could give you both. No, I'm joking. Right, question 3 onwards.
Question 3 is about my newly adopted team, as well as England. So, as well as in this year's World Cup, England were also drawn against Wales at Euro 2016. They beat them 2-1 on that day. Which then Liverpool striker scored the winning goal for England?
Must have.
And I watched the game. I watched that game, so I can rattle it off. Unless you
Then
want
go
to
for it then. Nah, I was thinking
Yeah.
Adam Lallana, but I don't think it is.
He wasn't a striker. It was a man like
Is it not?
Daniel Sturridge.
Ah, I forgot about him.
Dan Sturridge.
It was Daniel Sturridge.
Because did Vardy not score the first one?
I absolutely cannot remember.
Oh.
This is why we're working as a team.
Yes, it is.
So
Moving on.
technically, it's my turn to answer next time because that's 2-1.
Yeah.
Yes. Now that's
Me.
that teamwork if I've ever heard of that. Number 4. Most of these questions are aimed at talking about England's failures. This one sadly isn't, and I'm sorry for the emotional trauma in advance, lads. England and Scotland were drawn together in qualifying for the 2018 World Cup, and at Hampden, Lee Griffiths had scored 2 free kicks to put Scotland ahead late on. Who equalised and added time to deny Scotland a famous win over England at Hampden?
I think I do know this one.
I think I do
Um,
too.
In the words of Anton Griezmann, was it Harry Kane? I think it was.
That's what I thought. So
And
fuck it,
you
let's
would
go for
both
it.
be correct.
Yes.
because did Stu Armstrong make an absolute arse it?
Yeah, he should have cleared it or something. I remember it. I just remember the 2 free kicks.
So question number 5 goes back to the 2010 World Cup, where Robert Green cost England top spot in their group with a famous blunder against the USA. It's a shame Jordan Pickford couldn't replicate it the other night. Which goalkeeper replaced him for their subsequent games at that tournament?
We talked about this a few weeks ago, did we not?
Yeah. But
Dave
say
James.
You're absolutely correct. I may have forgot we spoke about that a few weeks ago.
Hey,
he was about 40, wasn't he? He was ancient.
Well, you have steamrolled through the first half of this quiz. This should be where the difficulty starts to go up. 2 strikes, remember, you've not used any of them so far. Question number 6 is true or false?
Hey.
True.
We often say that England get easy draws, especially in qualifying for major tournaments. To prove that point, they've faced San Marino more times than anyone else since the start of World Cup 2010 qualification. True or false?
Oh. I mean, I do remember them playing them quite a bit, but I don't know if it's that many times. What do you think?
I'm inclined to say true, but I don't know why.
Maybe go gut, but I feel like he was setting us up there.
I feel like they've played them at least 4 times.
Oh, I can only remember Scotland playing them a handful of times.
I would say true, but it's up to you.
Yeah, we've got strikes, so let's go true.
True is absolutely correct. England have played San Marino 6 times in 12 years.
Jesus.
They are joint most with Poland, but 6 times is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
Money San Marino.
And I think San Marino have conceded, I think from researching this, I think it was 52 goals. I think that was in 8 games, so that was including 2 which were earlier on before 2010. But that 52 goals conceded in 8 games is still absolutely ridiculous.
You're right, mate.
Question number 7. This century, so since 2000, 4 England tournament squads have contained all English-based players. Name any of the tournaments where that happened.
Can you repeat the question? My brain is fried.
Yes. So since Euro 2000, 4 England tournament squads have contained players who all played their club football in England. Name any of the tournaments that happened in.
Since when, sorry?
Since
2004. Or 2000?
So 2000 onwards.
Right, okay.
Well,
The 2004 was the World Cup, wasn't it?
it's got to be like after, like before, like 2018, because like Bellingham and Sancho and that. They're the only real players that played abroad.
Did Trippier not play at the last one he played for Atletico, or had he not left at that point?
I think he was still at Spurs. But was Sancho not in that team?
Yeah, I think he could have been. He was dormant, was he not?
About 2012. I think anybody would have had.
Is this just Euros, did you say?
Euros and World Cups, so you have the choice of either.
What about 2010? Who was in the England squad that didn't play in England?
There wasn't really, that was when they had like the spell of just nobody went abroad. I'm thinking
I would be
2010,
inclined
2012.
I'd be inclined to say 2010. I
Do
don't
that.
really remember 2012.
There was like Andy Carroll and Stuart Downing and
Which would make you think that would probably be safer going 2012, but I don't know.
I think it's pretty much the same squad, bar Matthew Upson and Morton
Right.
Green.
Right, let's do it. 2010 World Cup. I'm looking at our answer.
Yes, World Cup 2010 is absolutely correct. Euro 2012 would also have been good.
Can we get both points for the rest?
Mhm.
Can we try and guess the rest?
Yeah, so World Cup 2010 and Euro 2012, if you know the other two, go for it.
Right. Must be. What about Euro 2008?
They didn't qualify for that.
Is there not?
No. Mine when it
Oh.
went over Paul Robson's foot.
I knew there was one they didn't qualify for because they did play in Germany. That was their sixth, wasn't it? The World Cup.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I was
played-
right. I was right.
He played no six because that's when Rooney got sent off for stamping on Ronaldo's nuts.
Yeah. That must have been an all English side. Surely.
I try to
Not
think.
all English. You know what I mean? All English based.
Is that your guess? World Cup 2006?
No, I'm not looked at it in yet.
Do we lose points for this? No, is this just for a
Oh,
bit of fun?
no, this is just for fun, so you can just chop one at me and I'll tell you if you're right.
2014, I was
Going.
thinking.
2014 is wrong because Fraser Forster played for Celtic.
Rules are rules.
Britain. Oh wait, sorry, they're not British. What about 06 then? I'll go with 6.
06 contains David Beckham at the time and Owen
Oh,
Hart.
LA Galaxy.
So yeah, Euro 2000, Stephen McManaman was still playing for Real Madrid. 2004 had Hargreaves. 2006 had Beckham and Hargreaves. 2008
2016.
had 2010 and 2012 were good. 2014 was not good because of Fraser Forster, and then 2016 and 2018 were the other two where it was all English-based players.
Well, not this competition. Who else is bar Bellingham? Who else is
Sancho, Smalling.
No, not
Sancho?
Smalling.
Where's Sancho these days?
Manchester United.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I wasn't listening to what you said.
This competition.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Bellingham.
Bellingham for sure.
No, I said apart from Bellingham.
I think it's just a minute.
I want to say it's just Bellingham.
Well, because Tomori never got called up.
Correct.
Right. Proceed. What about on question 8? We're doing quite well with these.
Question number 8. This talks about the aforementioned 2018 World Cup. England won their first ever World Cup penalty shootout in the round of 16 tie. Who did they beat, and can you name one of the 4 successful takers for England?
Funnily enough, me and Kyle were in Magaluf this time, so I don't know if my memory's a bit blurry.
I think it was the day before we went because I remember watching it at home.
Yeah, we were in Magaluf watching it. We watched it with England fans. What game was it? Was it
We watched
Ecuador?
England. No, we watched Sweden. That was in this game. This game
Did
was
Harry
Colombia.
Maguire not score a header? Oh, it was Colombia, and Eric Dyer scored the winner.
Yeah, this is actually Dyer in Colombia.
Absolutely correct. Dyer scored the winning penalty, and they did beat Colombia. Do you know who missed that? Who missed in that shootout?
For who, England?
For England, yeah. Do you know who missed? One of their 5 missed.
Does this matter? Does this matter though?
No.
Kane?
It wasn't. No, Harry Kane scored. Scorers were Kane, Rashford, Trippier, and Dyer, and Jordan Henderson missed the third one. Question number 9. So as long as you get one of the next 2 correct, you are through to the final question. Question number 9. Again, mentioned it already, but England failed to qualify for Euro 2008 after losing their final qualification match. Who did they lose it to, and who was their manager at the time?
Oh God, this one.
Sorry, what was it? I was trying to think.
Yeah, England lost their final qualification game for Euro 2008. Who did they lose it to, and who was their manager at the time?
Well, I just spoke about this a second ago.
You did. You told me exactly what
Right.
happened. You didn't tell me who they beat. You didn't tell me who their manager was, though.
Well, I know the manager was Sven,
I was going to say Sven. That was my guess.
and it was Croatia, wasn't it?
Is that your final answer?
That was
No, if
Was
you're
it-
happy with that, go for it. Because my answer is Sven, but I don't know who they played.
I mean, it was Croatia. The ball went over his foot. 'Cause it was 3-2 or something.
So we're
Let's
going
just
with.
go for it. We've got a question. Got a safety blanket here. Let's just risk it.
It was Croatia and Sven Juranovic. Was that your answer, just to clarify?
Yeah.
Yes.
You are unfortunately only half correct, so that is one of your strikes. It was Croatia. They did beat them 3-2, but that was the famous night of the Wally with the Brawley, Steve McLaren.
Well, we have to get this question correct. Correct the
You
window.
need to get this question correct, or it's curtains. This is the last one as well.
Feels like a penalty shootout.
It is. And talking of that, since they lost to Portugal on penalties at Euro 2004, England have only faced the hosts of a major tournament once. Who was it, and what English player scored the only goal in that game?
Oh, that's brick.
2004.
Since 2004.
Right.
Russia? No, they didn't play Russia.
Was it not?
Did they?
I'm thinking, was it not Sweden in 2012?
I genuinely do not know, mate. I'm not sure about this one. Who scored though?
I'm trying to think. Oh no, it wasn't Sweden. It was Poland. Ukraine who hosted that one. I'm sure it was Ukraine, but I can't remember who scored.
Oh, this is annoying.
Well, they've not played Qatar this tournament. They didn't play.
I was getting it back. Well, technically they couldn't have played a host because there were so many different host nations.
They were
And
the
you-
host pretty much.
2020, yeah, they played all games at Wembley bar one. 2018,
Didn't play Russia.
2016, where was that? I always forget the Euros. I can remember the World Cups.
Euros was Paris. They didn't play France.
2014,
Didn't play Brazil.
yeah. 2012 was no, Poland,
Ukraine.
because 2010 was South Africa, and they never played South Africa.
They didn't make 2008.
Yeah,
Didn't play Germany in 2006.
so it must be Ukraine.
I'm sure it's Ukraine, but
Who scored?
To give you a hand, you are absolutely correct with Ukraine.
I mean,
Who was
the
the
game.
What year was this again? Did we say 2012?
2012.
Who was up front for England in 2012? Bar.
There-
What? I can only think of Rooney really.
You had Andy Carroll, like Stuart Downing. He was a winger, I guess.
Love getting his name in, Stuart Downing. What a man.
I don't know. Rooney's popping up, but I never watched this game. I don't have any recollections of it.
Well, I'm just thinking not Rooney, but Rooney was always kind of mocked for not doing well in tournaments.
Yeah.
I don't want to say
I
Andy
don't know
Carroll.
who else. Because
He's probably like a fucking defender.
yeah, if I could probably check this in, it'll be like a Gerrard or something.
I don't know, I can't think.
Name a player who played for England in 2012. Got a chance.
Leave that up to you. If you want to say Rooney, just do Rooney.
I don't know. I don't want to ruin the question, but it's the only thing I can. I've back the mic there with my headset. It's the only thing I can really think of. But not yet. We're only 20 minutes in this podcast. I've still got time to think.
I'm sure people are very fed up with the silence.
There's no silence. It's just me going.
Then just me chucking a random player into the ring.
Stuart Downing.
Yeah, or they know the answer and they're absolutely screaming it.
Well, if they can play along home if they so please.
Can you phone a friend?
Hello, Stuart.
Stuart, Mr. Downing, is that you?
Did you score against Ukraine?
No, I didn't.
It wasn't that. It wasn't an
Oh.
answer. But... Right, if I'm correct, you're going to laugh at me for this. Can you mind the game on the old iPod? It was like score, and you scored
Yeah.
goals. I'm sure this goal was on it. Obviously, it doesn't give you players' names on it, but
Yeah, but it was based off.
it was like a long, sort of like big 1-2. If I'm correct.
Sidetracking here. Do you remember that game on mini clip with Wayne Rooney, and he was pure he had no neck. He was hunched shoulder. He was pure battering through folk and headbutting people.
I think so.
Sorry, I just wanted to sidetrack there when you were. Right, back to the question.
Yeah, pick a player.
Up to you. If you want to do Rooney, just do Rooney. But
I don't know. I don't really want to. But who else played in that team?
I mean, I barred down and I said Carroll and.
Obsessed. I would laugh if it was Stuart Downing though.
I have
And I
just
feel
told you it's not Stuart Downing.
That could be a
Oh,
red
fair.
herring.
Oh, fuck it, Rooney.
You are absolutely correct. It was the granny
Yes!
shagger himself, Wayne Rooney.
Was it? Oh, well, that's incorrected.
Missed the first two games of that tournament after being sent off against Montenegro in qualifying, but scored the winner that day. So, the final question. You have managed to make it unscathed, apart from Steve McLaren, which is probably more of a scathe for England fans than you. The final question. In 90 seconds, I'm going to keep track of how many you name. There are 24 possible answers. I would say if you get more than 5, I will be very proud of you. From 2010 onwards, in 90 seconds, can you name as many players who have scored against England in a major tournament?
A major tournament.
So Euros or World Cup, not including penalty shootouts, from 2010 onwards. This doesn't include this World Cup so far. Your time starts.
Wait,
Wait. Right, quickly.
Bonucci.
Robert Green on goal.
Bonucci, it wasn't a Robert Green on goal.
Clint Dempsey.
Clint Dempsey is correct.
Yerry Mina.
Right.
What was that, Kyle?
Yerry Mina.
Yerry Mina is correct for 3.
Qualifying doesn't count as major tournament.
Mandzukic.
Who was that?
Mandzukic.
Mandzukic is correct.
Did
Did you-
Havertz score?
Your time. Say that again.
Havertz
Don't think
in
so.
the Euros.
Havertz has not scored against them, no.
I
I
thought he
think.
scored in this.
Was there not
Who scored?
somebody
Miller?
like Torres?
Who scored when they got beat 4-1 by Germany?
Podolski, closer. Miller.
Yeah, there's 3 of them.
That's fine.
7, so you're doing well.
I thought it was fine.
Was there Torres for Panama, or have I made that up?
It wasn't Torres for Panama, no.
Again, there's Iran players, but I can't remember what they were called.
20 seconds. You've got 7, which I think is a really good score. When I read some of the names on this list, you're going to be like, they're absolute nobodies.
I want at least one more.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
Suarez.
1. Suarez is correct for 8
Well done,
points. And that is your time up. 8 out of 24, which I think is pretty damn good.
How much did your tester get when he did it?
Tester, when he did it, to be fair to him, it was via text, so it wasn't officially 90 seconds. On his own, he got, I think it was 6 on his own.
Oh, that's mental.
So for 2 years to get 8, you've done really well.
Well, I mean, I got about 2. Kyle got about 6.
To go through them, Kyle managed to get between you managed to get all of them. World Cup 2010, so it was Clint Dempsey, which Robert got, and then closer Podolski Miller from the round of 16 game that we previously mentioned. None of the ones at Euro 2012, they only conceded 2 goals before going out to Italy on penalties. It was Samir Nasri scored against them France in a game that no one can apparently remember. And Olof Mellberg scored 2 for Sweden, 4-2 loss for Sweden. World Cup 2014, when they got knocked out in the group stage, it was a 0-0 draw with Costa Rica. They conceded 2 goals to Luis Suarez, which he got, and then they also lost against Italy, and it was Claudio Marchisio and Mario Balotelli.
Oh, what?
I can think
I
of the
knew that.
striker
I knew
for Italy.
Balotelli.
Yeah. Euro 2016, they conceded a goal to Russia from Vasily Berezutsky.
Oh, hi.
We might
Uh,
have got that.
We mentioned England losing to Wales earlier in
Ah.
2016. Gareth Bale scored for Wales.
Fuck, I forgot about
And
that.
then the infamous Iceland game, and I'm glad you've not mentioned either of them because I would have to ask you questions about their surname. Because we have Ragnar Sigurdsson, not to be confused with Gylfi, and then Corbijn Sigthursson, which is a different surname entirely. World Cup 2018, they conceded quite a few goals. They conceded Ferjani Sassi scored for Tunisia against them. Felipe Baloy scored the goal for Panama. Good luck if you good luck getting that because no.
I was close.
Yeah, you picked a Panamanian player. Belgium in the group stage was Adnan Januzaj.
Right him.
Yeah, exactly.
Is she still at? Is she still at Real Sociedad?
I think so.
Absolutely no idea. Yerry Mina, as you say, Kyle, in the round of 16, you got one of them from the semi-final. You got Mario Mandzukic. You didn't get Ivan Perisic.
I thought he scored both of them.
So did I.
I thought
You
he
said
scored.
it.
I thought he scored the both of them.
No, Perisic scored the first one.
There you go.
Third place playoff, you could have Thomas Meunier or Eden Hazard. You didn't. 2020, you obviously got Bonucci, so you mentioned it as well. They only conceded one other goal in that tournament. It was to Mikael Damsgaard for Denmark in the semi-final.
Oh, a free kick, wasn't it? Oh.
And then the one at this tournament, the only goals they've conceded were from Mehdi Taremi and Iran. That time of recording. Hopefully they concede a few more to France on Saturday night.
I think Mbappe's getting added to that list. He's on fire.
He's going to terrorise John Stones.
The thing is, for 12 years, that's an average of, I mean, I would say 2 a year, but it's, 7 tournaments, they've conceded 24 goals, which is, yeah.
They're supposed to be a good team, so it's expected.
But the fact that 8 of them came in the tournament where they reached the semi-finals is a bit of a shock.
Yeah, good point. We're supposed to be playing more games, just that you're going to concede more.
But yeah, well done, lads.
It's fine, because Scotland are going to win the next competition, so we're all good.
Need to qualify first.
Yeah, there's always time.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. Need to win in Georgia. That'll be a baby step. Not done that before. But yeah, well done, lads. You got 8 out of 24 on the final question. Getting there was a good result in itself. If any listeners managed to do any better than that, let us know on the socials.
Yeah, please do. I think that was quite. We'll continue the kind of quiz segment, not every week, but it'd be quite good to spice things up. Because I know that the World Cup is very much all in the news, so I guess it's something else to talk about. So, as I've said that, let's talk a wee bit about the World Cup.
Just to interrupt, it's 4-0 Brazil at halftime.
Right. That's
Your
a
favourites?
and a half.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they're new favourites.
Oh, I did say that. I did stick with Brazil in the end, I think.
I've got money on Argentina, which means it definitely wasn't happening from the minute I put money on it.
That's why it's not happening. Messi was behind the desk in Willie Hill.
Yeah. I was paying for one of them.
Greg put money on me to win. I better flop.
The French Messi, maybe.
The Welsh Messi certainly bloody flop.
I am Messi. I don't know how the fuck it sounds.
Greg says, I was going Swedish there. I always go Swedish. I'm from Wales. That's better.
Is it? It still sounds like you're from Stockholm and not Cardiff.
I'm from Bristol.
Nope.
I know it's in England before anyone says.
I know you remember the habit in your spare time.
I thought it was Finland.
I'm from the valleys. Right, can we just pretend you're in Newcastle so I can do that? I'm better at that one.
Are you? It's hard to be in
No.
sports.
Away, man! Up next in the bush ticket trail. Greg, you're gonna have to put Kyle's balls in your mouth.
I'll pass.
Right, can we just move on before?
Okay,
I'm more than
right.
just a
Sorry.
cat. I am scat.
I think this is the portion of the podcast where people find out that this is definitely not edited.
Yeah, I don't edit at all. Mainly because I don't know how to. It's a learning process in itself. I'll do my Scouse one while we're doing these.
Really, go for
May
it.
as well. We just get to the road.
I can't do it, I'm shy.
Dude,
I can do the word, I can go, chicken. You want some chicken, lad? That was
Right.
rushed and I feel really stressed out now.
right.
Right,
Yeah.
moving on. Back to what I said.
Move on before you make me say, right, you are my love. In a really bad.
You wanted to get that in. Right. First game to go to penalties of this World Cup tonight. Japan versus Croatia. Croatia taking it. I mean, I watched the penalties. I thought their goalkeeper was really good, but they were pretty poor penalties if you think about it.
They were.
Very, very low, very savable, but at the same time, keeper's got to be there, so credit to him. I was just wanting Barisic to hit one.
What, so he could miss? Because he,
No, he scores some. Easy.
the
Who's hitting
only
them?
reason he wasn't subbed off before that was because they had no other left backs.
It's quite funny when you think that obviously Barisic of Rangers left back, then Juranovic of Celtic right back. Got that Scottish connection in there.
Oh, plenty. Well, Maida scored, so there's another Celtic connection.
Yeah, true. But I thought he got called up, didn't he? It was just, or did he not get called up? It was
No.
Kyogo that never got called up.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I don't know. Don't know.
Yeah, so that was interesting. Do you
Yeah,
think we'll see some more penalties in the next few games, or what do we think, Greg? You seem like the man with the knowledge this week.
I seem like the man who opens his mouth and then the opposite of what he says happens. So I'm going to go for no and say that the end of this round, so tomorrow, I don't think should need penalties. I got Switzerland, Portugal, which actually, now I say it, could be tighter than everyone thinks. I would say I want to keep my cards on my chest because I want Switzerland to beat Portugal and not Ronaldo out because it would be funny, and because I think Switzerland are quite an underrated team. But I'm not sure it'll happen because I've now said that it might.
Can't wait for every game to go to penalties.
Yeah, literally every other game's got penalties after this now. There's got to be nothing versus 90 minutes, and I've said there's got to be no more penalties.
Just screw it. Just have a penalty shout for all the remaining games. I saw a thing tonight, actually. I'll see what you think. One of the who was on the commentary for that game was saying like it was thought that in a lot of the cups you just go straight to penalties now instead of playing extra time.
Yeah,
It was one of the commentators said brought it up and mentioned obviously how this World Cup's obviously in the middle of the season, and obviously we talked about injuries and stuff, and I've just said obviously 4 times, but we're talking about how injuries are obviously going to be. I can't stop saying it. Are going to be an issue due to obviously being in the winter. So yeah, what do you think of it if it was to go straight to penalties instead? I know obviously it's not.
we could put winter in inverted commas, obviously, because obviously it's a lot warmer than that in the stadiums.
Obviously human. Right, go. Sorry.
I think obviously that compared to you can't just introduce it compared to other World Cups. I mean,
Obviously.
extra time is obviously really boring unless it's England who got knocked out of the last World Cup in extra time. There's one argument to keep it. I don't see why we need to get rid of it. It's a bit stupid to consider getting rid of it after one game of extra time, where extra time actually was no worse than the game that went before it.
No, I agree with keeping it. I just want to see what you thought. What about you, Kyle?
I would just scrap it. Fuck it, just get rid of it.
You will go pens.
Yeah. Extra time's boring. Don't like it.
Yeah, what I found more amazing was the fact, I can't remember what group it was. It was the Poland-Saudi Arabia group, that before Mexico conceded that goal to Saudi Arabia, we finally went through the full list of FIFA tiebreakers. So it was goal difference, head-to-head, goals scored, that stupid fair play thing which happened at the last World Cup. But at one stage, there was a serious chance that it was going to go down to literally the drawing lots or the toss of a coin, and that's absolutely mad that can happen at a World Cup. I see talks of next World Cup potentially just do it after any drawn group stage games, going to penalties after it, so that kind of thing doesn't happen. But yeah, it would be great to see FIFA taking an idea straight from the Scottish League Cup.
Yeah, I don't know. It's strange. I think, like I said in a previous episode, I think we should bring back the MLS halfway run thing instead of penalties. That would be good, lads.
Hockey style thing.
Yeah, you have to run from the halfway line in a certain amount of seconds, and you basically just have to lob the keeper. And it's a case of whether the keeper will come out far enough for you to lob him.
Yeah, the ice hockey style approach, which it can't be any worse.
I think
you should get
a big death match.
Winner takes all.
Pretty much.
I did see another suggestion on Twitter that gamers should just, not end. It should be golden goal with absolutely no end, and then, if it ends up being 3v3, all for it. I'd be well up for it. Just well up for it. Every 5 minutes of extra time, you've got to nominate a player to sub off.
I remember when I was primary school, we were in a cup final. It was like one of the wee rural cups. It went to golden goal. It went on for ages. But obviously, my team won.
Yeah. I suppose the only downside of that is that it leads to 10 players.
Greg, I think your audio cut out there. Is he gone?
Was he died?
Oh, this could be our first technical difficulty.
Oh,
I think he's gone. Oh well, get some peace now. Obviously. Right. He's back. He's back. Hello?
Yeah. I was talking throughout that. I thought you were contently listening.
No, you cut out completely.
Helpful.
Right. I can't even mind what you were talking about. No, golden goal, go on. Yeah. I better talk about it.
Just, the reason they scrapped golden goal was that it was 10 players behind the ball. That was it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Is there any other results or fixtures we want to talk about? I think that's really it. I think it's going to get more interesting as we go.
Yeah.
I
see that's half time in the Brazil game.
Yeah. I see they've also decided it's coming home, which just isn't, because Senegal aren't that good, unsurprisingly.
Better than Scotland and Wales.
I mean, are they better than Scotland? Scotland at least drew against England.
They qualified.
Yeah.
I mean, but I'd like to suggest that Scotland would have a chance qualifying in the African section of the World Cup.
You mean you think so, but it's Scotland, so they're probably still not.
That's the thing with this expanded World Cup, because it's going to 48 teams at the next World Cup. And they want to try and give it to other parts of the world, because UEFA has, I think it's 10 out of 32, I want to say. But you get to things like South America, and I think it's like half the nations in South America qualify already.
Yes, top 5, I think.
Yeah, and they've only got 10, 11, 12. They don't have very many nations, so what's the point?
Look at the CONCACAF. That's just the same 3 teams every year.
But yeah, well, it's the same 3 teams. Well, it's USA, Mexico, and AN other. This time we've got Canada and Costa Rica in there, though, because I think Costa Rica beat New Zealand, I want to say, to get there. New Zealand play in the OFC, who are a confederation unto themselves when Australia left. So now you get possibly New Zealand. If you give them a slot, you might as well just let New Zealand go every year, so it's not going to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, good take, I suppose.
The World Cup is 32 teams. The reason Scotland haven't qualified since 1998 is because we're not one of the best 32 teams. Like, there's no need
Obviously. Sorry.
there's obviously no need to expand because you get to the stage where you get like, so 48 teams. How many stadiums do they going to need? That kind of eliminates, you either need 2 or 3 nations hosting it, which is happening for the next World Cup, and Canada, the USA, and Mexico have all automatically qualified. It's a joke.
I think you're right. Right, let's move on. I'm World Cup done. I can't take any more. So
Till next week.
till next week, obviously. When it gets a bit more interesting, and I've watched more games, which I won't, because I've said this last time. So, results from last week's predictions.
Are in.
They're in. Someone seems a bit happy because he's already read the results. Let me get them up on my reader for. Okay, I've lost it.
I can tell you them off the top of my head, that'd be easier.
So, last week we all scored 4 points, which was quite impressive actually because we picked a few different games. So that means that the scores are Greg 17, Robert 18, and Kyle is still in the lead with 21. And a wee quote in our chat here, Kyle put, "Ain't easy being cheesy. Take of that what you will."
It ain't.
Well, I'm gonna catch you. I'm just like prepare myself, and then this week I'm gonna get 10 out of 10 and just overtake you.
Haters gonna hate.
Right, let's go, Greg. You want to lead it?
Yeah, why not?
You're
Well,
good at this.
Kyle picked the games this week, so I don't know if you want to read them, Kyle, or if you want me to read them.
Swiffer. I'm easy.
In that case, why not? I feel like I've led most of this podcast this week, but I'll promise I'll shut up some other time. Not a lot of Scottish football on this week, so we have a complete load of random games.
Fuck.
First games, if we do the English Championship first, we've got 2 for the English Championship. First one is Reading v Coventry.
It appears that I've wrote the wrong list down, or not in the right order.
Yeah,
changed
I've
the
also
order.
wrote them in the order.
I've got a
This-
draw.
So
DR.
I've got a draw as well.
You've
Draw.
also got a draw. I have wrote down, having had a look at the table, that Reading have only drew 2 games all season, so I wrote they don't draw very many games and are actually not a bad side. Coventry, I think we're quite close to them in the table, have just been told they need to leave their stadium because Mike Ashley's bought it because he's a dickhead. I've gone for a Coventry win.
Fair enough.
I mean, you look like right idiots now. Obviously.
Game 2 was Blackpool v Birmingham.
Oh my god, this is not the order I've written down. I put Birmingham.
What did you say, Kyle?
I've got Birmingham.
We have 3 Birmingham wins. Yeah, I've wrote the words, had visions, they were solid, but Blackpool were actually second bottom, so good job of check the table. Lost 4 in a row before World Cup. Birmingham have played 21, won 7, drawn 7, lost 7.
System.
Yeah. Game in League One, Oxford v Barnsley.
I have Barnsley. Yes, Barnsley.
Again, 3 of the same. That's not good for us trying to catch Kyle. 3 Barnsley wins. Yeah. Oxford are unbeaten in 5, but Barnsley, despite having 4 wins in the spin, are still 8 points off the playoff, off the top 3, which I find absolutely mad. 2 English League 2 games as well. We start with Harrogate versus Northampton.
I just proper thrown me that's not in the right order.
Right.
No, I'm just confused because he's read it out in a different order. Or have I saved the pictures in a different order?
No, I've done them in a weird order.
Shock.
Right. I've put Northampton.
I got a draw.
I have Northampton, so potentially a chance just to claw back on Kyle.
Let's hope so.
Northampton unbeaten in 5. Harrogate 2 wins on the bounce, but not doing too well. Who knows? The other League 2 game, Swindon v Wimbledon.
I've
thought-
wrote draw.
I've called this clash Swimbledon. Just yeah, Wimbledon.
Have you said Wimbledon?
Yeah, I was trying to make it funny, but clearly went to Nicola Balloon.
It really did.
I kind of just decided to ignore it.
Yeah, so did I.
When did they go?
I'll respond to it with some stats. I did write in a not very stats way. I did write in my box, in the Wimbledon box. I thought they were shite, but they're actually not too bad. They're unbeaten in 5. Swindon have only won 1 of their last 5. I've got a draw.
Me too, mate.
The other random English game is National League South, Slough Town versus Havant Waterlooville.
But the fact that this is the first time I've heard of their name, I've went Hampton Waterlooville.
I've also picked Waterloo and Havenville.
Yes, I've also picked Havant and Waterlooville. They are third with 2 wins, though they have only won 2 in the last 5. Slough have lost 4 in 5 and 3 in a row. Havant and Waterlooville, of course, famous for playing Liverpool in the FA Cup in 2008 and leading twice at Anfield. Scottish Challenge Cup, we have first game, an all-championship clash, Wraith v Morton.
I've put draw. A draw.
Morton. Morton.
Have we lost him again?
Morton.
Yeah, we have. Morton Hears a who.
Just
Morton.
Did you hear that? I really hope I got picked up.
I reconnected and just heard the word Morton.
All I heard was Morton.
But yes, I've also had some technical gremlins, so I've heard that Kyle, I imagine Kyle's picked Morton. What did you pick, Robert?
I don't know now. I'm just completely
You
lost.
said draw.
Yeah, I said DRAW draw.
And Kyle, what did you pick?
Morton.
You picked Morton. I've also picked Morton. Morton unbeaten in 5, even though they're now 4th. Wraith have lost 3 in the spin, if you don't count the win against Talbot. The other Scottish Challenge Cup game, a bit of an interesting one. It's Kelty Hearts against Linfield from the Northern. Robert's second favourite team, of course, being another staunch team like Rangers.
Well, due to the staunchness of the team, I have actually went Linfield win.
Yeah, me too, because they're in quite good form. Pretty much.
Well, they're sitting third. I looked at the league. They're sitting third, and Larner at the top. There's another team that. Who was that keeper? Was it Ron Ferguson? Was it Queens? He went to Larner, I'm sure.
Yeah, they're also really bankrolled, Larner. I can't remember who.
Really? Not gonna lie, I don't know much about Northern Irish football. However, I was absolutely dying on Queens getting drawn against one of the teams, so we could have went across on the ferry. But alas, the draw went. He went Queen, and I went, oh, and he went Park Rangers, and I went, no, he didn't. He went Queens Park. Oh my god, I've done it again. This is like when Peterhead were playing Bristol. Right, sorry, ignore what I just said there. Yeah, I'm going Linfield.
I also have Linfield.
I also have Linfield because they are unbeaten in 5, and Kelty aren't very good, despite winning 3-0 against Peterhead last week, who are also not very good.
Yeah. Right.
Before we move on, what do we think about the Northern Irish Welsh?
The joke.
I like it as a change. I mean, I don't know. When I first came in, I wasn't a fan, but I mean, it gives like weird teams an excuse to get out. Yeah, I mean, you're never going to play a game out with Scotland that isn't a friendly. So I mean, I don't know, but I feel like there's not many. Not really included that many, is it? Well, it was two Northern Irish, two Welsh.
Yeah.
There's
The
not many
Welsh teams, I
English.
think, are actually something to play for. Like, if you do well enough in the league, you get a Scottish Challenge Cup spot, which, in reality, who the fuck wants that?
Is there English
Um,
teams?
No, well, technically, yes, because the New Saints, or TNS, who got put out by Dundee in the last round, play in England.
I thought Boreham Wood were in it one year.
That sounds familiar, but I have absolutely no idea.
Well, it got scrapped for a bit while it was COVID, wasn't it? Because just last season when we were in the final.
Yeah. Are the
Um,
Irish? Are there still
Cliftonville.
Southern Irish, Republic of Irish teams in it? Because I remember that was a big controversy because they had, like, it was the end of their season.
No, I don't think so. I think
Uh,
it was not this season just Linfield, Cliftonville, the New Saints, and what's the other team? The Welsh team.
It was Carnarvon.
Yeah,
Raiders were in
that.
it.
They also had B teams, which was the other thing.
Yeah, Greg. I know what your thoughts are on B teams, Greg.
Yeah, they're an absolute joke. Thankfully, the last one got eliminated in the last two got eliminated in the last round. Yeah, moving on. 2 games to go. Scottish League Two. East Fife versus our good friends Bonnyrigg, who managed to draw against Dumbarton and stuck the all out for a point last week.
I have went East Fife.
I'll keep it true to form and a draw.
I have also gone a draw. Bonnyrigg have drew 3 in a row. East Fife have lost 3 in a row. Bonnyrigg are now level on points at the bottom with Forfar after Forfar's win last week, which also stuffed us out of points. And there's only 5 points between the sides, despite one being in 5th and one being in 9th. Last game is the big game, World Cup quarter-final, on Saturday, England v France. What have we got?
England. Nah, I actually went England. I don't know. I have a feeling they're going to win.
You are an absolutely terrible man.
Yeah, get it.
I'm allowed to have my own opinion.
You're allowed to, but it doesn't mean you can't be criticised for it.
No, not at
It's
all.
your opinion.
I've got
I'm
France.
going England.
I've got France just for Mbappe's going to be a menace.
Yeah, I went France because I still don't think England are very good. Like, true to form would be England to get knocked out now because the usual carry on is they get knocked out by the first decent team they play, and that would be France.
Suits me.
But yes, that is this week's predictions.
Down, mate. Well, that was pretty good. I mean, this is the first week we've had any technical difficulties, but we kind of plowed through, so we're all right. I mean, I think we did it anyway. Me and Kyle can still hear each other, so I'm hoping that's what the recording picked up. You just went AWOL for about 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's all right. Just Cardiff broadband, innit?
Yeah, that is the thing. We do record this in different places. We all are spread out. I mean, me and Kyle's still in the hometown, but Greg is off in the land of the sheep. I don't know if that's offensive. Too bad.
I think it's offensive and true.
Yeah, well, had said quite a lot of controversial things this week. Deal with it. Yeah, so thanks again for joining us. If you've not already done so, give our other episodes a listen. This is episode 5. We have another 4 lovely podcasts sitting on Spotify. We shall record next week. Well, it's currently Monday. We're a bit earlier than our usual.
Yeah, sorry about
planning. Yeah, because Gregory is going to Switzerland.
that. Yes.
Life goes on.
You're not in Switzerland recently?
Yeah, I was there in June.
You're
Like,
obsessed.
so decided to go back when the Christmas markets were on.
Very fair. Very, very fair. I will be stacking shelves. I will not say the retailer, but I'm pretty sure you could guess. It rhymes with Esco.
PBS.
So that's my fun. However, I did graduate today, so that's why I was very unprepared, but Greg, you took the microphone, so to speak, this podcast. So thank you very much for preparing that quiz. It was very good. I'd like to do more of them in the future because I quite enjoyed that.
Well, maybe we could all take turns being quizmaster.
Yeah, maybe I could do one for next week.
Shall see.
I'll have a think. We will discuss. But thank you very much for listening. That is all we've got time for this week. See
All
you
the
later.
socials.
Yeah, follow the socials, please. Yada yada. Twitter and Instagram. See you.
Ta-ra.
Ciao.